Hello everyone. In today's class, we are going to discuss scaling of MOS circuits. So, VLSI fabrication technology is still in the process of evolution, which is leading to the smaller line widths, feature size, and to higher packing density of circuitry on a chip. So, first, we will see what do we mean by scaling. Scaling is a proportional adjustment of the dimension of an electronic device while maintaining the electrical properties of the device, results in a device either larger or smaller than the unscaled device. So this is the definition of the scaling. That means you are going to adjust the dimensions, that is the width and the length and the other properties of an electronic device, that is nothing but a transistor, while maintaining the electrical properties of the device. Electrical properties has to be same, it should not be differ, but the resulting device will be either it will be a larger or the smaller, usually the smaller than the unscaled device. So this is called as scaling. That means you are going to make some adjustment of the dimensions of that particular electronic device such that the electrical properties are maintained, they are going to be remains the same, but the result of the scaling is that it will become either smaller or larger as per the requirement so than the unscaled device. So this is called as scaling. So scale the device and wires down, make the chip faster functionality, intelligence, memory and faster, make more chips per wafer, increases yield. That means the result of scaling is going to be what? Wires are going to be down, make the chip fatter, that is functionality, then it is going to be intelligence, memory and faster, make more chips per wafer, it will lead you to make more number of chips per wafer, then increasing yield. So these are the advantages of scaling the electronic devices. That is, after adjusting the dimensions of the electronic devices, you are going to get few advantages. Now let's see, impact of scaling is characterized in terms of several indicators. So the first one is the minimum feature size. You have to keep the feature size minimum, beyond that you cannot go. Number of gates on one chip. So as scaling leads to reduce the size of the electronic device, you can put more number of gates on a single silicon chip. You have to take care of a power dissipation. Power dissipation should not be increased, it should be maintained. Maximum of operational frequency, die size and production cost, all these are going to these are the commonly defined parameters in microelectronics technology. Next is scaling models. So there are three scaling models: full scaling, that is constant electrical field; second one, fixed voltage scaling; and the third one is general scaling. So in the full scaling, it's the ideal model. Dimensions and voltage scale together by the scale factor. So scaling is done, that is dimensions and voltage scale together are going to be done here by the same scale factor. So full scaling, the same scale factor is going to be used for dimensions as well as the voltage. Next one, fixed voltage scaling, that is most common model until recently. This was used, fixed voltage scaling, in which only the dimensions are going to be scaled. Understood? Only the width and length of the electronic devices, usually the dimensions are going to be scaled, but the voltages are going to be remain constant. There is no scaling of voltages in fixed voltage scaling. That's why the name is fixed voltage scaling. And the third one is general scaling, in which most realistic and today's situation. That means in today's era, we are using the general scaling, in which the voltages and dimensions both are going to be scaled with different factors. So in the first one, the voltage and the dimensions are of the same scale factor, whereas in the third one, both voltages and dimensions of electronic devices are going to be scaled with different factors. That is the difference between the full scaling and the general scaling. So this is the diagram, that is scaled NMOS transistor, in which the unscaled transistor is scaled one by adjusting the dimensions of the given transistor. You can the figure leads to scaled transistor, scaled NMOS transistor. The figure shows the indication of the device dimensions and substrate doping level, which are associated with the scaling of a transistor. In order to accommodate the three models, two scaling factors, that is 1 upon alpha, that you can see the gate, 1 upon alpha and 1 upon beta are going to be used. So these are the scaling factors for the device parameters. Device scaling modeled in terms of generic scaling factor 1 upon alpha and 1 upon beta. In order to accommodate three models, two scaling factor 1 upon alpha and 1 upon beta are used. 1 upon alpha is chosen as the scaling factor for supply voltage VDD and gate oxide thickness D. Remember here, scaling factor for supply voltage is going to be VDD and gate oxide thickness D. So D and VDD, to scale this supply voltage and oxide thickness, gate oxide thickness, the scaling factor used is 1 upon beta. Then 1 upon alpha is used for all other linear dimensions, both vertical and horizontal to the chip surface. Whatever the other parameters are there, the linear dimensions, both it may be either horizontal or vertical dimensions, for all those things 1 upon alpha is used. For a constant field model of a constant voltage model, for a constant field model and a constant voltage model, beta is equal to alpha, remember this, and beta is equal to 1 respectively are going to be applied. That means for a constant field model, you are going to use beta is equal to alpha, and a constant voltage model, you are going to use beta is equal to 1 are going to be used. Next, we are going to discuss scaling factors for device parameters. So whatever the next we are going to discuss, all those are scaling factors for device parameters. The first one, the gate area. The gate area is denoted as AG. AG is equal to length into width, L into W, where L and W are the channel length and channel width respectively. So these both are going to be scaled by 1 upon alpha, horizontal and vertical. So both these length and width are scaled by 1 upon alpha. So substitute that 1 upon alpha in the AG formula. AG is equal to L into W. L is scaled as 1 upon alpha. W is also scaled as 1 upon alpha. So 1 upon alpha into 1 upon alpha is nothing but 1 upon alpha square. So AG, that is gate area. Area is denoted as A. Gate is suffix G. AG is scaled up by 1 upon alpha square. So this is the gate area. Next, second one, gate capacitance per unit area. Gate capacitance per unit area, that is C0 or COX. So either you can denote it as C0 or COX. We know that C0 is equal to epsilon OX divided by D, where epsilon OX is a permittivity of the gate oxide, that is thin OX, and that is equal to epsilon INS into epsilon naught, that is permittivity of a intrinsic semiconductor and absolute permittivity epsilon naught. and D is the gate oxide thickness. So D is scaled by 1 upon beta. So as we know, the dimension D is scaled by 1 upon beta. Thus COX is scaled by 1 upon beta. So that is nothing but equal to beta. So this is nothing but COX. Third one, gate capacitance. Gate capacitance is denoted by CG, and CG is given by CG equal to C0 into L into W. Now you can scale down. CG is scaled by beta into 1 upon alpha square. So previously we have defined both this C0 and AG. So use those things in this. So C0 is scaled by 1 beta and AG is scaled by 1 upon alpha square. So substitute those values in this. So CG is scaled by beta into 1 upon alpha square, because L and W both are scaled by 1 upon alpha each. So C and C0 by beta, that's why beta into 1 upon alpha square, that is equal to beta by alpha square. This is nothing but gate capacitance. Next one, parasitic capacitance Cx. Cx is proportional to Ax by D, where Ax is the area of depletion region around source or drain, and it is scaled by 1 upon alpha square, and D is depletion width around the source or the drain, which is again scaled by 1 upon alpha. So therefore substitute the values of Ax and D in a parasitic capacitance Cx. Therefore Cx is scaled by 1 upon alpha square into 1 divided by 1 upon alpha. So that is nothing but 1 upon alpha. Next one, carrier density in channel. Q on, carrier density in channel. So Q on is given by C0 into VGS, where Q on is nothing but an average charge per unit area in the channel in on state. CG is scaled by beta and VGS is scaled by 1 upon beta. Thus Q on is scaled by 1, that is beta and 1 upon beta get cancelled. So Q on is scaled by the factor 1. So remember here, Q on is the average charge per unit area in the on state, average charge per unit area in the channel in on state, and C0 is scaled by beta and VGS is scaled by 1 upon beta. So substitute beta into 1 upon beta in Q1. Q1 is equal to C0 into VGS. So beta into 1 upon beta. Beta and beta get cancelled. Thus Q1 is scaled by 1. Next one, channel resistance R1. So channel resistance is denoted as R1, and R1 is nothing but L by W into 1 upon Q1 into mu, where mu is carrier mobility in the channel. It is assumed to be a constant. Remember here, mu is considered as a constant here. Thus R1 is scaled by 1 upon alpha into 1 upon alpha. So that is nothing but equal to 1. So R1 is nothing but L by W into 1 upon Q1 into mu. Mu is a constant here. So that is nothing but a carrier mobility. We know the value of mu. It is going to be different for P transistor and N transistor, mu P or mu N, but still it is considered as constant. So thus R1, leaving that constant value, you substitute the remaining L by W and 1 upon Q1. So that is nothing but 1 upon alpha into 1 upon alpha. So that is equal to 1. So R on, that is channel resistance, is scaled by 1. Next, gate delay TD. TD is proportional to R on into CG. So remember here, TD, gate delay, is denoted as TD and it is proportional to R on into CG. So substitute the values. TD is scaled by then 1 into beta by alpha square, that is equal to beta by alpha square. The next one, maximum operating frequency, which is denoted as F naught. So F naught is given as F naught equal to W by L into mu C naught VDD by CG. Or you can also write F naught is proportional to 1 upon TD. Thus, F naught is scaled by 1 upon beta by alpha square. So that is equal to alpha square by beta. Next one, saturation current, IDS, IDSS. IDSS is given as C naught mu by 2 into W by L into VGS minus VT whole square. VGS and VT are scaled by 1 upon beta. As we know, VGS and VT are scaled by 1 upon beta. Thus, IDSS is scaled by beta into 1 upon beta square. That is equal to 1 upon beta. Current density J. Current density J is given as IDSS by A, where A is cross-sectional area of the channel in on state, which is scaled by 1 upon alpha square. So J is scaled by 1 upon beta divided by 1 upon alpha square. That is equal to alpha square by beta. Next is switching energy per gate, which is denoted as EG, and EG is given by half CG into VDD square. So EG is scaled by beta by alpha square into 1 upon beta square. So that is equal to 1 upon alpha square into beta. The next one, power dissipation per gate, PG. PG comprises two components. So PG is having two components, that is, one is PGS, another one is PGD. So PG is equal to PGS plus PGD, where PGS is static component and PGD is a dynamic component. So power dissipation per gate PG is having two components, PGD and PGS. PGD is a dynamic component and PGS is a static component. So PG is sum of both. Here PGS is given as VDD square divided by R on, and PGD is given as EG into F naught. So both PGS and PGD are scaled by 1 upon beta square. Thus PG is scaled by 1 upon beta square. Next, power dissipation per unit area, that is PA. PA is given as PG by AG. Now substitute the values which are already known. PG is scaled by 1 upon beta square and AG is scaled by 1 upon alpha square. So that is equal to alpha square by beta square. And the last one, power speed product, PT. PT is given as PG into TD. So substitute the values, PG into TD. Thus PT is scaled by 1 upon beta square into beta by alpha square. So that is equal to 1 upon alpha square into beta. So this is the end of the module number 3. If you have any doubts you can post your comments in the Google Classroom. I will be giving you the assignment and you can submit your assignment within 1 week. Thank you for watching the video.